Hey everybody, man, it has been a while since I've gotten in front of the camera. Hey listen, just want to reach out to everybody. Um, First and foremost, hey man, if you haven't gotten Chad's book, You're Not Special, You're Gifted, run out to Amazon and pick it up. You will not be disappointed. We all have gifts within us. I've read it. It's a great book. It's not preachy. But it is very encouraging to find your gift that God has given you. And Chad goes through some of that and some of the struggles that he's had in his life. So anyway, if you would, please do that. Look, the reason why I'm coming to you in this format, got my Forerunner shirt on. We're making some changes within the Forerunner Productions podcast platforms. In the past, you've had to go to each separate one, like the Shelter Hole. You had to go to, you had to be a subscriber to the Shelter Hole. You had to be a subscriber to Let's Talk Fortitude or Impetus, Minds of the Driven, or the Chad's new show that he's doing. That's the nerd thing. He'll get mad at me for doing it. But anyway, what Chad's doing is Chad produces all my stuff. So he's taking everything and putting it under one umbrella, one platform, so that you can go to that one place and subscribe. And anytime new content is put up, you'll be notified. And if you don't want to be notified of one or the other, then hey, you don't want turn the bell off. But I would ask that you go over there, if you would, please. All my subscribers, go over there. You don't have to subscribe to 2 or 3, but go over and hit subscribe. And that way you'll be notified of all the content that's coming up and coming your way. We have got some great stuff coming your way. I'm taking the Shelter Hole in a little bit different direction. I'm going to be recording some stuff today that you'll be seeing come out here in the next week or so. But I'm trying to find some guests to come on and to have a good conversation. So I don't want to just sit here and preach at you, but what I'm going to record today is going to be some stories that I'm going to tell you about some places that I've been, some things that God's revealed to me personally, and just share those stories with you. Hope to be an encouragement, and just be praying for me and the podcast and for Chad that we would get the right people on to bring you the content that you like. And please hit the like button, leave us a comment. Now listen, this does not change anything on where you get your audio podcast platforms, whether it be iPods, iTunes, off the iTunes, whether it be Podbean, wherever you get your audio podcast, it will not change. This only affects the YouTube videos. So you don't have to worry about doing anything else. One thing I want to tell you about is that on Let's Talk Fortitude, for the last year, we've been recording season 1. And I think we've got somewhere between 8 to 10 seasons of that. Well, we've got the first episode of season 1 getting ready to drop very soon. And I'm not sure if it's going to be about another week or just a few days. We've been going through a lot of changes within Forerunner Productions. Nobody's left or anything. Everybody's so busy and we're all volunteers. Nobody gets paid off of this whatsoever. We have no advertisements or anything. We're not a 501c3. I do this as a hobby. So there's nothing there. So anyway, I want to tell you a little bit, and I hope Chad doesn't get mad at me. We've kind of kept it a big secret until now, but I do want to kind of let you know what's coming. So it'll give you a reason to go over and hit that subscribe button on the Forerunner Productions YouTube page. So I'm a big fan. Everybody knows how the Unashamed podcast 2 years ago helped me dig out of a rut that I was in for several years, let's say 18, 19 years. And they have played a huge, huge role in helping me to get my life and my relationship back where it should be with Christ. And while I was watching that, there was an individual that they had on their program by the name of Kenny Moore. Kenny is the CEO and the founder and CEO of Highway 55 Burgers, Shakes, and Fries. As a matter of fact, I've got a mug right here that I picked up from Kenny whenever I was over there. There's also a book back here that's called The Servant that Kenny gave us when we were there that is highly recommended. As a matter of fact, that's when I got done reading, I sent Kenny an email and I thanked him. I said, man, it's one of the most impactful books I've ever read. And it's called The Servant. And one of these days I'll get it out and we'll talk about it. So anyway, when I saw Kenny on the Unashamed podcast, they said, hey, I'm from North Carolina. So I had never even heard of Highway 55 Burgers, Shakes, and Fries. I'm a West Virginia boy down here, right? So he talked about his book, The Drive. So I went out, got the book immediately, read the book, and I'm like, man, I've got to try to get this guy on my podcast because there's so much more in that. There's so much more of his story that he didn't tell that I wanted to try to get him to talk about. And we did. So long story short, I started reaching out to his office, sending emails. And I told him, I said, but I find, and it had taken, it was a month or two, and then it was a little while. And I just stayed persistent. And finally got a call at work one day, and the young lady said, hey, this is so-and-so said, this is Emily from Highway 55. I just wanted to let you know and when she said, Kenny has decided, and my heart just dropped, she said, he's decided to come on, that he'll do it. And I was just blown away that he would do that. And here's what I'll tell you, not only about Kenny Moore, but about the Unashamed podcast guys. We're talking Alan and Jace and Phil and Willie, Jep, Cy, Martin, John David, Jay, Philip McMillan, all those guys that are on those podcasts. Haven't forgot where they've come from. They're as down to earth as one of them I had a chance to meet, and we're going to talk about that in another podcast later on today. I'm going to tell you that story, a little bit about that story and how we met. But anyway, Kenny decided to come on, and we had called and asked about, hey, I want to give you a little bit of background about how all that came about. So Chad and I loaded up, drove to Mount Olive, which is about a little over 4 hours from Charlotte. And we got there early, and we went to the Highway 55 just down the road from the corporate office. And we were sitting there eating, and I said, Chad, it wouldn't surprise me if Kenny didn't come in. And so anyway, he did. He come by and I said, hey, Kenny, he didn't realize who we were at first, and he went behind the kitchen. But here's what I'll tell you. And I told this to Kenny, and you're going to hear it in the podcast. But Chad and I couldn't believe it. You would think that when the CEO or the founder walks into a business, the ones that I've been part of, it's always been real tight. I mean, everybody just tightens up. When Kenny walked in, that place exploded. It was just like, hey, Kenny's here. It was just... The atmosphere is as close to Chick-fil-A. Matter of fact, I'll say this. I think they give Chick-fil-A a run for their money in the hospitality, the way you're treated when you go in. And we've frequented not just that one there in Mount Olive, but the one in Harrisburg, North Carolina. I've been to the one in Locust, North Carolina. Chad's been to the one in Greensboro or over in Raleigh. And I think one or two other ones. It's the same atmosphere. I mean, people are just, it's just something. Kenny's personality and the way he treats his employees has been so infectious that it's spread throughout the whole business. And I mean, it's incredible. So Kenny comes, so he goes back, then he comes back and says, I said, yeah, Kenny, we're here to do your interview. Man, I should have noticed your hat. He said, look, he said, Emily said you were wanting to figure out where to shoot your podcast at. He said, I've got a podcast friend. Now listen to this. He said, my employees put that in for me a couple of years ago, but we haven't been able to shoot a podcast in there yet. He said, we've done some training, but we've never done a podcast in there. So we were able to shoot the very first podcast in Kenny Moore's podcast studio while we were there. Kenny Moore is you would never know the man is, I don't know if he's a millionaire or not, but I know he owns a franchise. I'm just saying, you would never know that the man, I don't know, he's just so down to earth that, and he took time and he talked with us and he spoke with us. He made us feel welcome. And it was just a great, great opportunity. And I am so thankful. So anyway, that podcast is going to be dropping. It'll be number 1. And what I'll do is when each podcast gets ready to drop on Fortitude, I'll try to come and give a little bit of background like I did on this one. And Kenny's been out to see Phil and Alan and them several times since then. And he's an amazing somebody, man. Kenny, if you see this, thank you so much. So that's just another big reason to go over there. And we really dig into his book. But anyway, thank you so much for that. And hopefully that'll give you a reason to go over and sign up. We have a great lineup for you too. We've got a retired CMPD police officer. I've got a huge U-timer, huge YouTuber that's out of Reedsville that came on. We've got some amazing stuff doing with disabled hunts, people that are pouring their hearts out to different people. So anyway, I am so excited about what's coming that I appreciate your all's help in getting this up and going. So listen, I know I've gone kind of long. Please go to Forerunner Productions on YouTube and visit our website at forerunnerproductions.com to learn more about who we are and the full scope of the content that Forerunner offers. Again, that's forerunners.com, forerunnerproductions.com, and go to Forerunner Productions on YouTube. Subscribe there, please, guys, and you're going to start seeing more stuff come out. Anyway, thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll see you in a couple of shelter hole videos coming out later on. See you guys.